Hello everyone, thank you yet again for joining us. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Today we have for you Unfaithful, a 2002 thriller film directed by Adrian Lyne, whom you may know from Indecent Proposal and Fatal Attraction. This movie concerns an otherwise happy suburban couple who go through the consequences of infidelity in a happy marriage. They have a young son as well who seems really happy. Out shopping on a windy day in New York City, Connie falls and scrapes her knee. She is literally blown away, apparently, right into the arms of Olivier Martinez.
That's not good.
I know.
Listen, that's me up there. The flower pot.
He invites her up to his apartment, which doubles as a library because he's a rare bookseller. Connie is obviously smitten by the young Spanish lad. Paul Martel wastes no time in this.
Ice.
About an hour.
Take the fourth one from the left. Got it?
Think so?
He promptly displays some Playboy tactics, directing Connie to the fourth book from the left, which she takes home after reading a passage that says, "This moment is your life." In regard to that, Connie gives us no real reason why she wanted to even deal in this.
There was this nice guy who helped me.
Was I just there?
Is he good looking?
Connie wants to play, but Ed is way too busy with his new camera. She seems starved for sex. They were literally magnetic in this role. I love the two actors in this. They basically went from this to Nights in Rodanthe, which I haven't seen that one, but I'm sure they got that role based on this. She immediately thinks about Olivier Martinez, I'm sure, at this point.
I'll be back. Don't fall asleep.
The book that he gave her seems to be a symbol throughout this movie. She's reading it one morning when his card falls out of it. She finds his phone number and I guess reluctantly decides to call him at Grand Central Station one day.
I wanted to ask for your address because I wanted to send you a box.
Where are you?
What?
I said, where are you? Come and see me.
What?
Yeah, take a break.
Olivier Martinez, if he can have a baby by Halle Berry, I'm pretty sure Diane Lane is easy pickings. I love Adrian Lyne's directing, how he has like subtle touches by Paul Martel, and basically Connie just can't help but to feel entranced by this. He has her read a cookbook in Braille, which he guides her hand over the Braille. Diane Lane definitely plays that Westchester County suburban wife role really good. She goes to visit Ed at work afterwards.
Auction. Yeah? Who'd you hit on?
Now Connie begins her tangled web of lies and deceit. After dinner with her husband, she can hardly think about anything. He's looking at her, she's staring off into space. She shows back up at the young book dealer's house, and this time, she's not so eager to leave.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Do you want to dance?
How many girlfriends have you had?
Hang on.
I think this is a mistake.
She made the mistake of leaving her coat in his apartment after she said that, and he just won't take no for an answer at this point. He takes her back to her bedroom. Now she's on the train thinking about what happened at the apartment. This film is based on Le Film Infidèle, which came out in 1969 by Claude Chabrol. From the reviews I've read, though, it wasn't as steamy as this one.
But I've been out of town. Maybe you should talk to Maggie about it.
What about you? How was your day?
It's good. You know, the usual stuff.
Ed senses something isn't right this entire time. I don't know if the movie was trying to make it look like it was the case or if not, but a man can sense those things, definitely. Now we see a montage of Connie and her infidelity, and also at the same time portraying a happy suburban housewife. Connie carries on the charade and literally is as brash as she wants to be. She's like talking on the phone with Martel in Ed's near proximity. She makes a number of other mental errors along the way, kissing with Martell in front of Ed's coworker, who is played by Chad Lowe. Ed tries to get his wife back at times, but she's just not having it. He sees a number of little slips and sexy shoes.
Yeah, I'm not going to be ready to go for at least an hour.
That's right. I'll wait.
I have a facial at 12:30 at Georgiana's today.
Oh, yeah, right. Yes, Georgiana's. That's right.
On her way to Martell's apartment, she runs into two of her friends who invite her out to the cafe, which she can't refuse. Martell quickly shows up to the cafe, though. They were just reckless.
Having an affair is nothing like taking a pottery class.
Could be.
No, it would start out like that. And then, something would happen. Someone, that ends disastrously.
Chad Lowe is fired one day for being recruited by other companies.
Why don't you take a look at your own fucking family, Ed? Take a goddamn look at that.
That's all he needed to hear.
This is personal, it's not business. I want you to follow somebody. I want you to follow my wife.
Ed hires a detective and Connie is making more mental errors.
I have to go to Chicago tomorrow.
Ed tells her he has to go to Chicago, which seems that he really does because he does have a meeting there, and she immediately thinks about getting sexy for our buddy Mr. Martell. Meanwhile, that detective, though, is on the case because that was smart of Ed to hire him. Connie honestly makes it easy for the detective, in my opinion. She had already been discovered by Chad Lowe, and then that cafe quickie was just reckless with her friends there to begin with. She even forgets to pick her son up from school.
Hi, this is Paul Martel. Leave a message after the beep. Thanks.
Don't be sad, Mom. Dad will be home tomorrow.
His name is Paul Martel. She sees him during the day.
Ed finds out where Paul Martel lives, and this part of the movie was literally shocking the first time seeing it. Connie just can't take the fact that Paul isn't answering the phone today, so she decides to go to New York City, and she ends up seeing Paul with another woman. That was just too much for the married woman to deal with. This ends up becoming another quickie, though, in the hallway.
That'll make you happy.
Fuck you.
I guess this movie is really an erotic thriller. It's not really a thriller. I just wasn't really exactly comfortable saying that word at the beginning of the video, but the truth of the matter is that's exactly what this is labeled as. Adrian Lyne was definitely into those. I mean, he made Fatal Attraction, Indecent Proposal. He hits these things so perfectly, in my opinion. Like Indecent Proposal, when Demi Moore chose John Gage, who was played by Robert Redford, that was just brutal to me to see that happen. I mean, this is the same way. I mean, feeling like your wife is cheating and then actually confirming it.
So tell me, how did you meet my wife?
It was a windstorm, she hurt her knee and...
You're him.
The tension just slowly builds during this visit, with Ed asking questions he shouldn't want to know the answers to and Paul giving them readily.
Didn't know he did that.
She never should have given Paul this snow globe, though. That was a mental error, definitely.
She didn't buy this for you. I gave it to her. I'm feeling sick. I can't.
When he bashes Paul Martel's head in with that snow globe, that part was just hard to believe. It was hard to watch, but he died instantly. Basically, Ed, he sees the blood on his hands along with the wedding ring, and that's also another symbol throughout this movie. He thinks about calling 911, which he decides not to do. He goes through a lot of trouble to hide this body, which you'll have to watch the movie to actually figure out how he did it, because I'm not really going to show that. That's like terms for me to get a copyright.
Leave a message after the beep. Thanks.
Hi, it's me. Can't live like this. I'm so tired of lying and hurting my family.
After all of that, Connie was trying to break up with the guy.
Messages erased.
With Paul's body still in the trunk, he goes to his son's play. I'm not exactly sure if this was an alibi or if he just wanted to make sure he attended the play. The cops weren't even in the picture at this point. He's rear-ended at the play, though, and that ends up becoming a big problem because he's shutting the trunk relentlessly, and they're all wondering what's going on there. He wakes up in the middle of the night, and he actually goes to the dump, it looks like, to hide the body, which is wrapped up in a rug. That was a scary scene. I'm surprised he got away with this part, but the cops are on their way. There's no stopping this, unfortunately, because they found Connie's number on the desk at Paul Martel's house. So the cops end up showing up, and at this point Paul is just missing as they haven't found his body yet. Connie, who is completely oblivious to this situation, is surprised.
I like these snow glass things. My boy has some of these.
The snow globe is getting attention.
Dad, cops came to our house today.
It looks like Ed is showing a little bit of stress. At the same time, the body is discovered, and the cops pay another visit to the Sumner household. The cops let them know that the missing persons case has been ruled a homicide. The next day, I believe, it looks like Connie is taking some dry cleaning when she finds in Ed's pocket pictures of her and Paul Martell. She discovers that he must know about the affair and the fact that he's been murdered. She puts two and two together when she sees the snow globe that she gave Paul returned to the house. After all, that snow globe wasn't just any snow globe, which you'll see later.
Did you hurt him? Did you hurt him?
I didn't want to kill him, I wanted to kill you!
Connie is thinking about, well, she's having flashbacks to if she had just caught that taxi and had never went up to Paul Martell's apartment. None of this would have even happened. And it looks like they're just trying to be normal, but deep down you can just see the stress and anguish on their faces. Adrian Lyne definitely depicts that very well in this movie. They go through their trials and tribulations, but ultimately Connie wants it all to work, suggesting fleeing the country. The ending of this movie, I feel, is left to the viewers. Ed wasn't really driving to the police station. He was driving home from the dance with their son, in my opinion. I mean, this wasn't a crime movie. It was just a marital tragedy.
Just leave the country. We could get a little house on the beach.
Thank you for joining me for Unfaithful, starring Richard Gere and Diane Lane. I really enjoyed this movie. As always, please tune in for the next video and please subscribe.